So good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio, and I have with me today Clara McIntyre and Connie Minnis. And Michaela Gomez is also here with us today. So it's a pleasure seeing everybody in whatever time zone you are in. And I am just going to set up screen share here. And we can go start a new session. And I believe you can just see my genius. And what else? I just want to get all the chats in here to see if anybody has any questions. If anybody would like to volunteer, I don't have a volunteer for today. So if you want to raise your hand or put it in the chat if you're interested in being a volunteer. Preferably if you have some physical pain of some sort or emotional pain. That way we can try to see if we can get a measurable change after the session. So if there is anything that anybody would like to work on and be a volunteer, please let me know and put it in the chat, and then we can get going. Otherwise, I will look to work with one of my lovely co-hosts today. And Claire, you were last week, so I don't know, maybe Michaela, if you want to be a volunteer, you can be a volunteer. I don't see anybody raising their hand. I do see Pam. Pam, I'm just going to give it one more second because you have been a volunteer. So I am going to try to spread it out a little bit. So if there's anybody else who would like to volunteer, Steve, if you are interested, happy to have you as a volunteer as well. Otherwise, we can, well, all right, Pam, if nobody else is going to volunteer, I will work with you today. So I'm just going to put your information in and give me a second, and then we can. Can you, Pam, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Are you here? I don't see you.
Oh, I don't know why. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. Can you see me now?
Just your name.
Oh,
now I see you.
Okay.
Okay, so can you just give me your birth date again, please?
September 22, 1946.
What was the year?
1946.
46, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we can just add that in. So for anybody who is just using the trial or who is interested in getting the trial and just viewing this just to get more information, you put the full legal name of your client where it says name. I guess I can put Pamela, right? That would be your full name.
Mm-hmm.
And their date of birth, and then the gender. And then at the bottom.
It's P-R-A-M-I-L-A.
I'm sorry. What is it?
P-R-A-M-I-L-A. P-R. A. M. I-L-A.
Okay.
Pramila. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then just at the bottom, we can continue with new analysis. If it were a case where we had started analysis and we wanted to bring up the new information that we had, we could hit load current client results. And this is on one of the beta versions that I'm working with. So some of this looks a little bit new to everybody, or it may look different than your trial. That is why. But hopefully we will be getting the new one approved soon. So anyway, we're going to hit continue with new analysis. And Pam, what would you like to work with today?
My left leg and knee, they are swollen and knee is very painful. I can't bend it, it's swollen quite a bit. Actually, the whole leg is kind of swollen.
Okay, so on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe, how would you rate your leg and knee?
Knee, I would say about 8.
An 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that's hurting you or that you'd like to work on?
I think because of this, my blood pressure is also kind of varying quite a bit
Okay,
because of the pain, I think.
okay. And emotionally, how are you doing?
Under a lot of stress.
A lot of stress? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of stress.
So I'm gonna put that as anxiety. Would that be correct?
It's more stress, but that's okay. You can put it as anxiety.
I could put stress, but
Yeah.
are you worrying about the future? Or the past?
No, it's about the future.
Okay. And how would you rate that on a scale of 0 to 10?
10.
Okay. And is it stress about something specific or just overall worldly?
It's specific, but I didn't want to go into details of this at this time.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to. And I'm just gonna hit a couple of things in here. So would you consider when your blood pressure, it goes high or low?
Yeah, it goes, like morning it's like 116 by 70 or 60 something, and then sometimes it goes to 16, sorry, in the morning it goes 118 to and 67 or so, and then at night sometimes it'll go up to 164, and my comfortable range is 120. In 120 is like 124, 127. So when it gets that high, it affects my eyes a lot.
Okay. So do you have blurred vision or what are you feeling when you have?
I get blurred vision, yes, when that happens.
I'm just looking for other things that may be in here. I'm going to put painful joints because you mentioned your knees.
Yeah, the other joints are not painful. That's the only one.
Well, there's
because
nothing
of
here
some-
that's specific to knee. So knee is a joint. So that is why I highlighted that. Okay, but this is just for notes. This doesn't affect the scan at all. So
Right.
I have enough information in here. I'm just going to move on from here and hit begin. And so I'm going to count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin. And then please say your full name and repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U until the 15 seconds gets to 0. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Pramila Kapoor, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to play back on the bottom left. It says voice harmonics. And this is how the Genius translates what we just recorded of your voice into a frequency. And this is like a homeopathic to yourself. So I'm just going to play that. Okay, and now we can hit next. Okay, and continue. And now I'm just going to take a screenshot of your picture here so we can add that. And there you are. And we're just going to hit use.
Oh, can you change that?
I can't, but it's not letting me use this picture right now. So you know what, we're going to bypass this. And we're just going to skip this part right now.
Okay.
And we can add an affirmation for you. And I'm just going to write all
Yeah, that's great.
Energies are transmuted into the frequency of pure love. Sorry, guys, that's my rice is done. If you hear that little chime. And I'm going to write, I am filled with pure love, light, and gratitude. And so it is. Okay, and that's going to be your energetic positive affirmation. And so what happens here is when we run frequencies, this will be translated into a frequency, and it will overlay all the frequencies when we run them. So the next thing now you're seeing here is, for all those that have the trial, are the different categories: the body, the biofield, and the mind. And if you don't have any custom libraries, meaning you haven't created any, or you haven't purchased any, or friends haven't sent you any libraries, you will not see them listed here. But if you do have them, how you go and capture them and bring them into this field is you click on these three bars, which we call the navigation bars, or sometimes we refer to it as saying, go to your back office. And we can go down to where it says libraries. And from here, we want to add them to client. So we're going to add all of them to client. And I'm going to hit select all to do that. And then you could see they all get a little check off there on the side. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm also going to go back and to libraries and go to master branch. And I'm going to hit add to client as well and hit select all and hit OK. I'm not going to be using any master branch that I've imported, so I didn't go to that today. So now we can hit begin analysis. Now, after I run the analysis here, these categories will be show up in order of priority. So in other words, the Genius will tell us which category has the most energetic disturbance in it. So we're just going to run that now. Okay, so now just to give a little explanation of the Genius of what these numbers are on the side, the Genius uses a numerical value system, and the range runs from 0 to 777. 0 to 100 is represented by the color blue, and that is observed to be chronic energetic disturbances. In Chinese medicine, it could also be referred to as stagnant energy, and also it could be referred to as under energy. From blue, we go to the green, and green is represented by the values 101 to 450. And then 451 to 688 is represented by the color yellow. And then we get into the red, and that's from 689 to 777. And red is observed to be acute energetic disturbances, which is disturbances that are happening currently or in the present. And that can also be observed to be in Chinese medicine heat or inflammation. And sometimes we also refer to it as over energy. Now, when we use a lot of the different trays, we have our quick balance. So how that works is anything on the page that you're viewing, if you hit quick balance, it will run all the line items in red and in blue only. And you set up the amount of time for that using this little timer on the side. You just drag this green circle up to the top. We then also have the quick zap. So any items that you drag up to this tray, the Genius will run those frequencies for the set amount of time that you set up. So in other words, if I dragged anything in here, you see the timer down here on the bottom. And again, you just slide the circle across that line to set up the amount of time. Now, the other tray that we can use is the main hold tray. And this is the tray that I use most of the time and find it to be the most powerful of the different ways that we can run frequencies. And the reason for that is the Genius will run the frequencies, but it also uses algorithms to show the relationship between each item. So sometimes items that might be represented as yellow or green right now, when it's brought into the main hold tray and the Genius looks at it in relationship to other items, those items could become high priority. So it is for this reason often that an area that we want to focus on, we might add values that are above 600 and below 200. And for that reason is because we want to make sure that we're not missing anything. So the other thing I just want to point out that you'll want to look at is to the left of each of these lines, you see these like the yellow chevron or the down arrow. That indicates that there's information when you click on this line where you can go a level deeper. And you can do that by just clicking on the line. So if I were to click on this line that says brain EEG, those arrows are there. And when we click on it, we see that there's additional information. So we can get back to that later. I just wanted to point that out to you. So the first thing I like to do when I run a balance is I like to use one of my libraries, but it can also, you can run similar information if you don't have that library by working with all the elements in the biofield, and then also working with the minerals. And this helps prepare the body so that it can better take in the frequencies. So I am going to go into the custom libraries right now. And we just need to be patient while it's looking for all that information. And now I'm going to run an analysis here. Okay, so now in order to find my library, because I have so many, I have over like 2,000 libraries. If we click on this like up arrow that's in the middle of the page here, we see some new tools that come up. I'm going to hit library because I'm just looking for a library name. So I'm going to click on that and use this little magnifying glass or the search. And I'm going to put in the name of the library that I'm using. And it is one of the libraries in my bioterrain. And it says vessel priming frequencies. So from here, I'm going to add all these items into the main hold tray. And you can see that there were 155 items total. Now, if I click on this like play button in the circle, it brings me to Progressive Insights. And so Progressive Insights is where the Genius looks at all of the items in relationship to each other. So I'm going to hit begin analysis here. And I'm going to move the timer down to 1 minute. And I am going to select all and have all of these items run. And we will hopefully get a good rectification on these and help prime your body before we start looking at what could be the underlying reasons for your leg and knee pain and swelling and discomfort. Pam, are you staying hydrated? You there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so your average percent rectification here is 34%, which is pretty decent. I like to look for 40% and above. And we're also seeing that the harmony, alignment, and energy flow, they're all close together. So that is important to look at, because if there was a big disparity or differences between those, I always recommend to run that until they're more balanced with each other. So because this is a demonstration, I am going to go back now, since we got a decent rectification here. And I'm also going to clear what's in the main hold tray, because there were 145 items, 55 items in there, and we're going to want to add some more information as we go. So now we can go back to the beginning page. And the next thing, I'm sorry, Pam, I forgot to get your aura picture, but we can do that now. So that's a really pretty aura picture, actually. There's so there is a little bit of a paler color in here, but and it's like fading out here. So I'd like to see if maybe we can get that to be a little bit brighter, but overall, I think that's a pretty good aura picture. So keep up what you're doing, Pam. I'm just trying to close out. I have all the Zoom. There we go. Okay, so now the next thing I'd like to do is click on the system overview, and that's going to bring us to our general overview. Now with the new Genius 2.0, you are able to look at not just the 27 main libraries that are in the system overview, but it also brings in all of the libraries that you have in your custom libraries. So I'm going to do begin analysis here. And we can now add, I'm going to add to the main hold tray, the top 50 and the bottom 50. And we can look at that. If you look at the top, it says 0 to 100. If I click on that, it will show me the bottom view. So some of the things that showed up for you, Pam, are frequencies to help increase vitality and energy, a right frequency to experience joy, tones to return to oneness. We have some mitochondria, sorry, methylation. Okay, so now let's just see what what's on the bottom, and we see your bladder meridian. We have some misalignments. So some land clearing. So maybe something in your home needs clearing that we can look at. So I'm just going to go now to the main hold tray and hit begin analysis here. And we can select all so that they all highlight. And now we will hit play and I'm running those for 1 minute. And again, here also, we're going to look for 40% and above for your average rectification. The nice thing about the general overview now is you have the ability to take in some line items which you may never have selected because you may not have thought that they were related to your issue, but often there are items that are really the root cause of things that we would have no idea of. So it's a really great new feature that the Genius is using. So I hope you all take advantage of it when you're doing your balances. And again, your average percent rectification is 64%. And you do have a little bit, your harmony is your lowest percentage at 52, and the alignment goes up to 80. So I'm going to run all of these again for another minute, just to see if we can get those a little bit more in line. And then when this is finished, we'll look at some of your today's stress to see what maybe where your disturbances are today. And then we'll start looking at your knees and your legs and making sure that those vessels are working and you're getting oxygenated, and work with some pain, as well as working on your stress levels. Okay, so there is still the alignment is still, that percentage is higher. I'm gonna hit rescan and then see if we can run just the highs for a minute. And see if we can balance that out for you. I don't know if everybody saw Michaela's note or chat to the group, but keep a lookout for the new update is coming soon. So it's very exciting. Okay, and you can see that the harmony, alignment, and energy flow is starting to balance out a little bit. The harmony and alignment are similar but different. You can harmonize something and it's more Connie, do you have like the written definition that we can add to that would maybe help explain that a little bit? I know that you probably have that in the manual just for the harmony and alignment, but basically it's like balancing a scale. You want those numbers to be more in line with each other, because if they're not, it's going to throw off that average percent rectification. But thank you, Connie. So and everybody, you can just check the chat in just a little bit, just to keep things moving with the demo here. So I'm gonna, you had 55% rectification average. I am going to now go back, and I am going to clear the main hold tray once again. And we can go back now to the system overview. And so now I'm going to go to brain EEG, and I'm just going to add theta to the main hold tray, because that is really good to add to help our brain be receptive to receiving all these frequencies. It puts us more in like a meditative state. And we can also look at today's stress. And thank you, Connie, for adding those definitions in the chat. So I'm sure you could all read this, but I'll just give you the definition that we've given out here, is that harmony is a frequency that may or may not resonate with the body. If it resonates with the body and consciousness, the harmony is the result. Otherwise, the result is disharmony. If this is the case, we can then look for the cause of disharmony to facilitate more harmony. An alignment is a type of energetic interference that disrupts the alignment of the consciousness to fulfill its purpose. Interference can range from mild, subtle energetic interference to a severe energetic disruption with very little physical evidence. Typically, every human being deals with certain types of subtle energy interference, which may impede one's clarity, sense of purpose or direction, and sense of self. And then I think the energy flow is a little bit more intuitive for everyone, but how much energy is available for physical, emotional, mental activity. Fatigue is one of many indications of stagnant energy flow. So that just gives you a little bit of information and a little bit of direction on where to go. But sometimes when we run these balances again, when those are not all kind of in level with each other, helps to balance those out. I hope that makes sense. But so anyway, looking at Pam's today's stress, we see the brain, we see some degeneration. Heavy metal toxicity is not red, but it is high in the 600s. And we see virus immune acid all above 600. I'm going to add everything from today's stress in here, just because as we balance some things, other areas in the today's stress may go out of balance. So it's nice to add those in there. And we see inflammation. Now that makes sense given on the pain in her knees and in her legs, cardiovascular, again, liver, blood sugar. So we've added all of these in here. Lymphatic sometimes, although is showing us 492, could also be a cause. So let's just go back out now and we can look at, we can just look at digestion. I always want to add, especially since that is blue for today. And I'm also going to add everything here that is in digestion. As most of you know from listening and watching Dr. Debbie Drake's wonderful Tuesday Zooms, what's going on in our digestive system, including looking for and clearing parasites and fungus and candida is very, very, very important in our overall health. So, and we want to make sure all areas of our digestive system are functioning properly. So we've added that. And the biofield, we worked on all of these issues when we did the primer in the beginning. We could, I'm not going to add anything there right now. I am going to just pop in and look at meridians. And I always like to add in the conception vessel and the governing meridian. We did work on these in the system overview and also when we worked on the general overview. So I'm confident that we've included that. Spiritual protection is something I always like to add in as well. And so psychic attack here has showed up. A lot of times psychic attack will display itself as physical pain. So it is possible that that is having some relationship to the pain in your knees and in your legs. And let's just add in the aura here. And I'm also going to look at emotional, and I'm going to add your reds and your blues here. Okay, so now that we've added those, now we can look at what's in our custom libraries. And I first want to look at muscles. So we can look at where your leg muscles are. And I'm just going to add all of these, even the yellows and greens. And the nerves. Let's see. Let's look at the nervous system here, and we're just going to add the reds and the blues here and vessels to make sure that they're, we'll look at all the ones of your leg vessels. And again, I'm going to add all of them because when we add them to the main whole tray, some of these greens or yellows might in fact become a priority at that point. And I want to make sure that they're getting oxygen, so we can add the reds and the blues here. how are you feeling, Pam, since we've worked on some of those?
I, it's pretty much the same right now,
Okay,
keeping myself hydrated. Are you going to add lymphatics also?
I am gonna look there. I just want to put in the pain because
Yes, thank you.
there's a lot of items in this library, but we can go to lymphatics right now. And we can just, I'm gonna add all the reds and blues here for this to like clean it out, and we can see what other ones. And I'm gonna add the ones that are above 600. And there's nothing 200 and below. So, well, there's below 100, but nothing between 101 and 200. So I'm just gonna leave those. And then I'm trying to think of the other library I wanted to work on with you. Just adding some of these that have shown up in here. Sometimes you can have hidden viruses that show up. And I'm also going to look at the bioterrain here to see. I'm going to add these candida items in here, and let's just see what's showing up down on the bottom. So they're all different strains and frequencies for candida, and we can add their solutions as well. I'm going to add all the solutions. Okay, we have 250 some odd items, so I'm gonna run these now. I'm gonna run them, all of them for 1 minute each, and then the highs for 3 minutes. So I'm just gonna hit all. We do see heavy metal toxicity showing up here at the top. B, did that explanation help you with the harmony and the alignment and energy flow, or do you still have some questions? Oh, you're just. So V's asking why I chose Candida. It was just my intuition to choose that. It was kind of I was drawn to it. So, but I also do want to go and look at parasites for Pam, but there were too many items in the tray, so I wanted to see if we could address that after we run the ones that we're running now. Okay, so we had amazing rectification here, 80% rectification. Even though energy flow seems to be a little bit lower, we are going to run all of them again for 1 minute. I just want to rescan them just to see. I just like to see how it reorders things after we run it for 1 minute. And we're seeing now that Candida is coming a number of times up to the top. So I'm just getting back to V's question. You know, I just picked it because I was drawn to it, but that's perfectly why I always tell everybody, if you're drawn to something, go with it, because your intuition, even though you may not know it, always seems to know. So let's run all these again for another, oh, I need to select them. Sorry, guys. There we go. Jackie's saying Dr. Drake says to balance yeast fungus with mercury and other heavy metal detox. Do you like a certain library for the heavy metal detox? Well, right now there is heavy metal in this, and we do have the candida in there. I could go and look at more specifically one of the other libraries for fungus, but right now, because we had so many items in there, I did not select those, but hopefully these will, the items that I have in there, hopefully will address some of that. So average percent rectification, 55%. And again, you see energy flow and alignment is at 50% even, and harmony 66. So they're not so far off. So I am happy with that. I'm going to rescan all these and then just run the high items for 3 minutes. And we can just, we have restless leg syndrome that's showing up in the highs. Let's just see what else for the legs are showing up in here. So we have some inflammation is showing up. So let's run these. Let me just adjust the timer here. You feel okay, Pam?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to tell you about, you were saying something in the house. My communication panel is in my bedroom.
Oh, okay. Is there any way you can move that out of your bedroom? Because it's
Can't
always
because,
best.
yeah, I can't because this is a condominium and we are not allowed to do that. There's no way I can move it out. I put
Oh,
some,
you mean the whole electrical panel is in your bedroom?
the communication panel
Okay.
is in there, which is really, I think that's affected me a lot. I put some shungite over there and the panel, but I don't know how much it affected it.
Okay. Well, maybe you want to run some frequencies, on your specific bedroom. You could put the address of where you live, where the name would go, and you could, write master bedroom or whatever in there as well. Or you could just do your whole home. But you may want to run some frequencies in there to try to neutralize that a little bit for you.
So, Dr. Drake said that if we wear shungite, then I was wearing shungite for a while and my necklace, but he said that when the frequencies are being blocked, it would beat us up, so I took that off.
I didn't hear everything that you said. I know that Dr. Drake spoke a little bit about that, but I'm not as familiar as the shungite using that with the frequencies, or if how it affects it when you're using it, if it blocks it or not. That, and I think even Dr. Drake had suggested when this came up, like you kind of have to use a little bit of the information from Google or Go and get some information on that. That's not my wheelhouse, so I can't really speak on that. Deb, are you here? I think you felt the same way, right? To do a little bit of search on that? Okay, so here we're seeing 59% rectification, which is a good high number. But again, I would run that again a little longer. Let's just see how much time we have. I'm going to run that for another minute, just because harmony's at 36% and then alignment 68 and energy flow 73. That's like a huge gap. I am going to hit rescan. And then I'm just, for time's sake, I'm just going to run them highs for 1 minute. But again, we see Candida showing up at the top. So a couple of times actually, or at least 2. Lymphatic is showing up at the top. Psychic attack is showing up as your highs. So hopefully this is giving you a little information, Pam, when you're running balances on yourself on some of the items that you may want to focus in on. Is the pain in your legs and knees still the same?
Less, but more as I walk. Right now I'm sitting so the swelling is pretty much the same, but when I'm touching in that area, it's not as painful right now. So that's good.
Okay, that's good. Hopefully it would need
Great. Yeah, that's great actually.
time, and it could be a little bit with your lymphatics. It needs a little bit of time to drain a little bit. You can, a good thing to help with lymphatics is if you like are on the floor and you lay back on the floor and you put your legs up against the wall, that is helpful with lymphatic drainage. So you may want to do that for a few minutes in the morning and at night as well.
Okay.
Again, I would still run this longer, but because of the time, I'm not gonna, I want to go back and see what your aura looks like, and let's just see what that looks like first, and then we'll see how we're doing for time. So I'm going to run begin analysis again here. Okay, so here, I mean, we're working with a lot of energies now. You have the blue in the center, which is nice and bright. But again, right after that, that darker color I see is some interference, and you do see some compression in here. And like Dr. Kimberly McGeorge had talked about, there may be some external factors or things at work or family or just things that are going on in the world today that may be putting a little pressure on you and interference. So we may want to work with that. I do want to go and clear what's in the main whole tray right now, and work with anxiety for you. I didn't put anything in there the last time. So let's just I'm going to add all these items in here. And I want to add these specifically for your knees. And I just want to add in, since we're running out of some time, I'm going to add all these gems for stability and grounding, and also the flower essences as well, because those were showing as blue. Just going to add the reds and blues of these. And let's run these. And again, I'm going to run all of them for 1 minute. Does anybody have any questions while these are running that I can help you with? Or any questions on the new Genius 2.0? How is everybody liking it so far? It's working really well. I hope you're all excited for the new 2.0 that should be released soon, and you should all be getting an email soon, as Michaela added in the chat. Okay, so here, great 40% rectification. And again, harmony, alignment, and energy flow are more in line. So that's really good. I am going to rescan. And I'm just going to hit the highs for 1 minute. And hopefully this will also help with your knees and your stress level. And how is your stress feeling? Is it any better?
I'm getting a headache actually.
You are?
Yeah, and that's good actually. I think things are changing.
For you, it's good. Are you drinking enough water?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you normally find it that it's helpful for you when you are getting a headache, that it's working better, or?
No, no, but I think what happens when the body is changing sometimes, it's possible that you get a headache or
Well, some
discomfort in some other
headache
area.
could be a sign of dehydration, and also I had mentioned that, and also Connie is telling everybody water. I would recommend having some water, even though you think that you are staying hydrated.
I'm drinking water actually.
Okay, good.
Drinking water all along, and I drink a lot of water all through the day.
Okay. So here we see that your energy flow and harmony are high. The alignment is 29%. So there may be some interference that's coming in there for you. That may be something you want to work on. We are at the top of the hour here. I'm just going to get a new aura scan for you. And that may be a lot of the interference that we're now seeing out here. So I would continue to work on, you might want to work on the spiritual protection some more for you, and more in the biofield to help clear this up. We've worked with a lot of frequencies, so that could also be part of that. So Any additional change in your knees and in your legs?
Maybe the pain on touching is not there anymore. Maybe a little bit less swelling.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
How is it? Can you get up and walk around? How does it feel when you're walking?
It feels better, but it's difficult to say because it starts to hurt more as I keep walking or standing more. So for right now, it doesn't feel like it's hurting.
Okay, great. So
Yes, yeah.
where you were at an 8 before we started, how would you rate it?
I would say it's about now to about 40%.
So a 4 out of 10?
Yeah, so from 8 to 4, I think now it'll be. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. And what about your stress? You were at like a 10, I think you said.
I can't say about stress. It's something that's ongoing, and so it's hard to say about the stress.
Okay, well, that's okay. It's still,
Yeah.
you still work on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, you can
So
let us know.
my
And then,
question is, should I still work with the fungus? Because now you.
yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, when we're doing the demos, I don't really have the time because we're talking so much to run these frequencies as
Right.
much as I would like to, but sure, definitely at home, I would continue to work on that. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more direction to show you on where to go, but I would continue on your lymphatics and your working on the candida fungus. You may even want to look into the parasites a little bit.
I already did, actually. I worked a lot on parasites in the last 2 days.
Okay, well, that's great. Anyway, we are after 3. It was a pleasure being able to work with you. Anyone else?
Thank
If
you
anybody
so
wants to
much, Denise.
volunteer for next week, please email me at Denise@Inside Health Apps. I'd love, hopefully, if someone that has not had a chance to be a volunteer, that would be great. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and a great week, and look forward to seeing you next week. And Jackie says, thank you so much. And you're so welcome, Jackie. So thank you, everyone, and shall see you next week.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Denise. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.